If you could say what's up, guys, hope everybody's doing well. Manchester City versus Chelsea, 3-1. Unacceptable for Chelsea. If Man City end up winning the Premier League and they qualify for Champions League, that's all on Chelsea. That's all on Chelsea. I swear to God, if they win the Premier League, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, you better go to Stamford Bridge and start like throwing tomatoes and lettuce and put the blame on Chelsea. This is on Chelsea. If City start playing well, if they start going back to what they used to be, that's thanks to City, or Chelsea, I should say. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. They just came from getting their asses handed to them by PSG. A PSG that's restructuring, a PSG that no longer has Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, Verratti. And credit to PSG because they did absolutely what they had to do against a very, very poor City side. I didn't see the game, I saw the highlights, but 2-0 you're winning, and PSG aren't known to, they're not the comeback kings. That's Madrid, City, or at least used to be, and maybe Barcelona. You just let them, you just allow them to beat you. But that happens. If there was ever any time for PSG to beat City, it was now. It was now. So it makes absolute sense that they lost that way. But Chelsea, take advantage of that. You guys were well rested. You're not playing anything right now. They just came back. They're tired. They're mentally exhausted. Their morale is on the floor, right? It's almost the same thing that happened when, what was it, like a season ago, I think, when City played Real Madrid and they went to overtime. I think they went even to penalties and they were just exhausted. And I think it was Kyle Walker that after they played Chelsea in the Community Shield, the final, and that was the worst. Everybody was saying like, this is the worst we've seen City, when City was immaculate, right? They were on top. And I think it was Kyle Walker that said, man, I am exhausted. I think he told John Stones or Bernardo Silva or somebody he was completely tired, and yet Chelsea couldn't beat them. But Chelsea weren't that good at that time. They were at their worst, you could even say. Chelsea haven't been, they've been in sort of poor form. They've been losing, winning time after the really good start of the season that they had. So it maybe comes as no surprise also that they end up losing against City, but they had everything in their favor, in my opinion, to be able to have a really good solid game, because any game that Chelsea played City, to me, was the new Clasico. It was the new derby, if it even is a thing. I absolutely loved those games. I looked forward with so much enthusiasm for Chelsea versus City, because they always gave us a really good game. And it started off that way. It definitely started off that way. And the mistakes from City were, everywhere. Kovacic, Gundogan, Foden just giving away the ball. Holland, the first half, it was all Marmoush. It was the Marmoush show. Never heard of this guy. Very lively, very energetic, always trying to find space, always looking for the ball, always like moving around the whole front of the attack. And Holland wasn't even at all participating. It was only until he got the pass and the goal that, you could say Holland did something, but it was mostly Marmoush. Really excited to see, what else this guy brings to the Premier League. City were playing really bad. They were playing really bad, and they made it easy for Chelsea. And Chelsea should have capitalized on that. They got the first goal off of that huge mistake. Poor kid, 20 years old. Nobody, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Ashnikov from Uzbekistan. That is the worst way to start, your professional career, right? In the EPL of all leagues. Everybody just watching. You could feel the knot. I think I even saw like a bulge in his throat. Poor guy. And then he gives the ball away, and again Palmer gets the foul. Credit to him for saving the goal that should have been a goal from Palmer. I don't know why he decided to give it to Jackson of all people, which is in poor form. I think he was going for the assurance that was going to be a goal, but then he ends up giving him a brick of a pass, and you can't really blame Jackson at that point. But why didn't he take it? That was the 2-0. That was the 2-0. But the way they played, you know what? City were going to come back. Even if you would have scored that goal, even if Cole Palmer would have scored that goal, City were going to come back. Absolutely, they were going to come back. And then you just let City play their football. They absolutely toyed with Chelsea. Chelsea had no chance, especially when Palmer was no longer participating. Sancho wasn't doing much. Madueke was more or less, but at that point, he was just by himself on the wing, just taking on a really good Gvardiol that was offensively doing way more than Holland did. It was Gvardiol and Nunes that were the strikers for City. And Madueke was the only one really doing anything. Sancho was more or less attacking, but I think it was Madueke that had the more opportunities to be able to do something, to really threaten the City defense. And then Palmer, my complaint is always Palmer he turned off. He just vanished. He completely vanished. And the times that he did touch the ball, didn't really do anything, got dispossessed so easily. It just seemed like he was very complacent, like he didn't really even care, like he was trying not to get hurt or something, playing very, very timidly. That's my problem with Palmer. He's too cold, and if anything, I think the pressure got to him, and for me, he shrunk. He shrunk and he just disappeared. He completely disappeared instead of stepping it up, and that's what I think he needs to be elite. Everybody always talks about that he's probably the most gifted player after Foden, the most gifted English player. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's there. I think he's a great player. I always look forward to watching him play. Love the way he plays, and I mean, who doesn't? Like the way he scores, so elegant, so with such composure and such tranquility. But man, games like this is where you need to step up, and he didn't really do anything. He didn't really help out the Chelsea squad. And who else is going to step up? Cole Palmer. Who else? I thought Enzo he had a good game. He did what he could. Caicedo also was just like running around, not knowing exactly what to do, fouling people. But hey, man, that's what he's there for. And he was trying to do everything and too much. He was practically alone. He was practically by himself with Enzo. Chalobah was having a good game until I don't know why that third goal, he ended up thinking, I'm going to go, I'm not going to go. He was kind of like caught between two minds. And he leaves Foden all by himself. He left Foden all by himself in the middle. I don't know why he did that. Absolutely don't know why he did that. And then the mother of all mistakes. He can't have a game without having a single screw up. He can't have a game without having a single screw up. He has to have some kind of mishap. Sanchez. What the hell was that? What was that? And that wasn't the only one. There was one where he ended up clearing the ball with nobody on top of him. He ended up clearing with his hands, and he gave it right to Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo Silva ends up giving it to Sancho. Thankfully, nothing happened. And as he gave it to Bernardo Silva, you see Chalobah just holding his hands like, what are you doing? There was nobody on you. What would make you think, are you colorblind? Did you think that light blue was a dark blue? What was that? But the way he came out, I don't know why he came out. And Chalobah, even though he got beat as Haaland ended up cutting on his inside and then taking the shot. There was what's his name, Cucurella coming back, and he was outside the box. There was plenty of time. I don't know why he decided to come out. And just don't get me started on Sanchez. Like, get rid of him already. You guys are worrying about like getting a striker. Yes, and Nkunku didn't have a good match. He came in and he did nothing. He didn't help out in no way. That whole switch with Garnacho makes absolutely no sense. I think him going to Manchester United would be a good thing for Manchester United, not such a good thing for Chelsea. I think if given the proper chance, letting him play kind of like do what Madrid does and wait 2-3 seasons and you'll get a really good striker with Nkunku. Of course, that's not going to happen. Chelsea are not going to do that. But you did that with Jackson. It took like a season and a half, almost 2 seasons, maybe even 2 seasons. And this season he starts playing well. I think it's already been 2 seasons with Jackson, right, at Chelsea. It's been more than 1 season. Let's be honest. So you got to get rid of Sanchez. Stop. Why would you still have Sanchez there with the huge mistakes? You just let City play their game. It's so infuriating. It's so sad to see such an opportunity to be able to win a game and put yourself in the top 4 and you end up tossing it away. Like, it doesn't, like Palmer, for me, like, you got to step it up, man. I'm sorry, but you have to step it up. Like, this is nonsense. Like, the way he's playing, it's too cold. It's too complacent. You're too aloof, and it seems like you don't care. Who else is going to generate anything in Chelsea if it's not you? And you weren't there at all. And it's not because City was like, marking him. City were doing a really good job at stopping him. No. City were not doing that great of a job. City were doing just what any other team would do. And it seemed like the pressure was too much for you. Playing at your old stadium, playing at your old house, and you succumb to the pressure. It has to be better. It has to be way better from Palmer. Absolutely way better. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not happy. I'm really not happy with the way Chelsea played. Man, I am not happy. I am really, really pissed off. It was starting off to be such a good game. Even if they would have won 1-0, the way they played, and for some reason City wouldn't have scored, I still would have been unhappy. Because that was a poor performance by a Chelsea side that should have taken an opportunity of seeing the limping antelope that is a City in the Serengeti and getting swooped up by a giraffe. You're the lion and the giraffe gets there before you do. Come on. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.